Welcome, everyone, to Make It Make Sense. I'm your host, Monique Pressley. I'm excited to be with you today. I am especially excited today. Well, I'm always excited because we're trying to bring you clarity. We're trying to bring you the best information possible. We're trying to make sure that my shirt buttons line up. We're trying to do all the things in order for you to have content that you need, to get the news you need, but not just to get it thrown at you, but to get the information from experts. And today is one of those days where, I'm getting you the best that I possibly can. The man, the myth, the legend, Anthony O'Neill himself is going to be here with us, and he has figured out today's Monday motivation. You guys know that. And I want to talk about freedom. And I don't know, as I told you on Friday, a way possible to be free if you are not financially free. And there is somebody here who's going to be able to help us get down the road, tell his story and I'm not going to tell his story. He can tell his story. Let me go and welcome our guest in now. There you are.
Oh, well,
Hey.
man, you have my YouTube blowing up right now. People are just loving you. And I'm like, there's like, yo, she has to come back. So this is amazing. You're making a lot of noise. If y'all haven't checked out her show today on my show, Lord Jesus.
Well, Anthony, this is what I was thinking. We couldn't have done better cross-pollination if we had tried. We didn't even plan for your show with me on it to be dropping the same day that we booked you to be on my show. It was just stars being aligned. And guys, if you have not been watching him in The Table, that's the official name of it, right? The Table.
Yes,
and it's on YouTube. It's everywhere podcasts are. But when I tell you, we had a good time. We had a good time. And I think just talked about things that needed to be talked about, Anthony, which is the same thing that we do here. And if you guys are looking and noticing I am in a different location, it's because I stopped a conference in order to come and do this because I didn't want to miss Mr. O'Neill. This cannot be a rescheduling. This cannot be a rescheduling. So there's random people set up everywhere. I just found some sunlight. I love some good lighting. I found the best lighting I could find so we could get to it. But just so people can have an understanding. Like, I know when I met you, it's many years ago now. And hey, I figured it out. You guys, we were just last week, we were at the International Leadership Summit that's hosted by Bishop Jakes. And we got to do a pre-show together. And I was teasing him about how much younger he is and how I don't think he knew my age, but how I knew he was so much younger than me. And I was like, I just don't understand why we were at Pisgah together. But then I figured it out. You weren't at Pisgah. That year that we met all those years ago was the one year where Project Gideon and
Pisgah came together. Yeah.
So the under 40 crew and the over 40 crew were, again, cross-pollinating in the same room. Because I thought about it. I'm like, I just don't understand how he snuck in there. What was he even doing there?
I thought you was on, I thought you was on the Gideon side. I didn't know you was on the Pisgah side. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, how is he? Wait, what?
I was out of Gideon before there was ever indeed a Gideon. I never had a chance.
Yo, man, listen.
I was a Pisgah member from day one.
Listen, man, I was confused when you said Pisgah. I was like, she ain't 50. I mean, I was here. Like, she ain't 50 now. Then when you came in here, you told me your age. I said, I need to see ID. Y'all, I still need to see her ID. I need to see, I mean, legit. As no, forget ID. You can get fake IDs. I need to see the birth certificate. I need to see the birth certificate.
Oh, okay. You come and asking people for their birth certificate? Really?
So
is that where we going?
That's what I'm doing. I don't need no ID. I need birth certificate, yo. Because my sister, man, when she walked into ILS, all the eyes was on you. I was like, yo, they go Monique. I was like, that's a homie. What's up, sis? You have that walk like you 25 walking in like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? I was like, okay, let's go, Mom.
But that's not a 25 walk. That's a 52 walk because you have to live a while to get some confidence about your carriage where you can go to any room and be good in the room because you're the room. I mean, you got to grow somewhere to that's maturity. That's what aging is to me. But I want to shout out some people because I see Pastor Don is in here. I see Jalen, our show friend and brilliant one, is in here. He needs to be on the show soon. Just saying. I see all these people, but yeah, I mean, I think aging well, the gift of age is you lose that insecurity about and it's not that big opportunities don't still because they shake me to my core, but you lose the insecurity about who you are. Like if you get to 52 and you don't have no doggone clue, it's not too late. You can still figure it out. But I'm just saying, I know my likes and my don't like. I know my is's and my ain'ts.
Yo, man, listen, I just appreciate you for aging well. You give us black men hope that our wives will look that good at 52. So God is good.
Well, black men have something to say about whether their wives look that good at 52 because she's going to look how you treat her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can rob with that. Yeah, I got you. Okay. Then if that's the case, my wife going to look good until I die. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, if that's the case, I'm going to take care of mine. Because, and this, I know we're talking about money, but then, one thing I have learned as I'm evolving as a man is really how to really become the man that God has called me to be for my husband and for my children down the road. And so, I've made a lot of mistakes, but I'm grateful that I've been around people like my pastor, Pastor Stephen, Pastor Don, Pastor Darius, Tori Roberts, and Sarah Lane. And like these guys have really been calling me out on my ish. I know we can't curse on your stuff. I don't really curse on my stuff. So I say ish on my stuff.
You want to say this is the internet.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they called me out on the stuff that is immature, that is not of a grown man. And man, it's just been good. Even Don was on here. Don, tell him at lunch the day before me you did a pre-show, Don and Pastor Darius called me out on something as a brother. It was like, hey, bro, listen, you need to step that up. You need to pivot that. And so I'm just grateful to be around men who are like, yo, then one of the reasons why you're single is because of you. It's not because of these queens, because you have amazing queens like Monique, like these other ladies out there who are ready for a good man, and you got to step up to the plate. So I appreciate my brothers in my life calling me out, man,
Right. And we're not just talking about money today. I think, it's Motivation Monday. We're talking about freedom. Now, what I will say, I was talking to them on Friday, talking to folks on the show and just saying, you got to be emotionally free. You got to be spiritually free. You obviously have to be physically free. I don't know what any of those will matter if you're not also financially free, because you can be as free to move, like freedom of movement. You're not in shackles. You're not in chains. And I talked to my sisters. I hope you're not living with some dude, sis, and you shackled and in chains, because baby, but you can be free, have freedom of movement. Mm-hmm. But if you can't get from the 7-Eleven to the dollar store, you're not free. Mm-hmm. And I know that what it means to be financially free, and that you are devoting your life to teaching it. So why don't you just tell us, how did you get on that path?
Before I met you, I think right when I met you, I think I was 20, first year. No, that Pisgah was last year. So that's my Bethel days. So I would say maybe about like 6 years before I met you, I was, bouncing back from being homeless, bouncing back from living paycheck to paycheck, bouncing back from literally making bad decisions. And I think a part of the problem is within the Black community, unfortunately, we've been taught to survive. We've been taught to really just go out there and just live and work our butts off so we can survive. So my parents never really taught me how to thrive. They taught me how to survive. Today I was with my dad, and I was not today, but right around this time, right? I was going through my estate with my dad, and he was just looking at what I've been able to build because he would be the successor of my estate if something was happening before my dad passed. And he said something to me that just really shook me. He said, Anthony, when I look at your success, your wealth, I get excited, but also I'm like, from my life, I'm wealthy and I don't even have a quarter of what you have. I'm like, so you don't have a quarter of what I have, but you're wealthy. And he said, yes, because I remember, picking cotton and only making $5 a week. I remember when I went into the army, I was making $600 a month and I was the man in my family. So the fact that I'm able to live in a home that I have and do this, I'm wealthy. And he said something to me that just shook me. It was like, I'm sorry I couldn't teach you that. I'm sorry I couldn't teach you what you know today, but I'm grateful that you're able to be around the people you have today to do that. And so that's where my passion comes from. Is that unfortunately my father and my parents taught me how to survive and how to work hard. And I was like, okay, cool. Now, since I know how to survive and work hard, how do I teach others how to thrive? So that's what I'm teaching is how do we thrive? And a huge part of that is having financial freedom, because when we have financial freedom, we have ownership, we have say so, we have opportunities that other people who are drowning in debt just do not have. And so my purpose, I'm not knocking no one who says, hey, I want to leverage that. Cool, go leverage that. Do what you want to do. But for me, I want to show that there's another way, that if you want to just be debt free, you can live the life you desire with no debt, and have that freedom. And I remember I was crying at ILS. No one saw me. But when I got in the Uber on the ILS, I think it was the last day. Oh yeah, it was the last day when me and you did the thing. The preacher asked for a seed of $3,000, and all week they've been calling for seeds, and I was giving him. When I walked there to give that seed, I gave a $6,000 seed. When I got in the car, I was emotional because I am in a position that I can sow a seed. And while it was a seed, it was like, whoa, that's a lot of money that I gave. I was still in a financial position to do so, because I don't have debt. I'm not going home to debt. I'm going home to freedom. And that seed activates other things in my life to where I can come back and sow a $20,000 seed, a $50,000 seed whenever I want to. So that's where all this comes from, is I wanted the freedom. I wanted the options. I wanted the opportunity.
I love that you even would mention that, because I want to share with you a crazy prayer I prayed.
Okay, pray.
Tell. Some years ago. And guys, if you haven't studied about seed time and harvest and what sowing into good ground can do for your life, just drop anchor there and get that, because all we're talking about with financial freedom and all the things that we're saying, it all folds in together. But some years ago, I prayed because I was at I don't know where. I was at probably some conference, Bishop Jake's conference, or conference like that. And I really don't go to anybody else's conferences. And my senior pastor, Bishop Staples, had taken us one year. And everybody it was a special offering, and people were going up for the offering. And I was not able to go up for whatever that offering was at that time. I first started going to the conferences maybe 20 something years ago. And people get in their feelings about that, and you shouldn't be where you are. Don't put your rent in the offering and have to drive faithfully to get home from the conference. I'm not saying that. But what I prayed was, God, make it so that whenever there's a call for the offering and the seed, I am able to answer the call.
Come on.
Make it so in my life that there is never an offering called for, that I am in the room to give or online, and God has talked to you about when you're supposed to give, when you're not. Don't trip on me, y'all. I prayed that I would never, and I need you to understand, it's been never, never since. It's been never, never, never since. It's been never, 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 ever since. Now I had to try to figure out, got to move something, got to push something, got to, where is this coming from, God? Where is this seed? Where is this seed? But I've had it. And so I love that you celebrated that. Where though, Anthony, can people start? Because for some people listening right now, going from Jesus, the mortgage, the car, the kids, did I say it again? The kids, the tuition, Jesus, the debt, the lifestyle, the credit cards, it's all like, it ain't manna from heaven. It's all like a dark cloud. What's the baby steps of coming out of that?
I think the first step that I teach everyone is to really just, look at yourself and have a real honest conversation with yourself. I believe the greatest enemy to our success is our excuse. And what's the excuse? Is to have self accountability, right? And so the greatest enemy, it wasn't the world, it wasn't the system, it wasn't that. While all those are fair obstacles to get over, right? But the greatest enemy to my success was looking in the mirror and saying, hey, you got to check yourself. Hey, you got to stop saying you cannot tithe when you choose not to tithe. You choose to give your money somewhere else. And so I think that's the very first step, is to look at yourself and say, hey, you know what? Let me say no to me more often. I remember, being young, only making $38,000 as a youth pastor and driving a BMW simply because I was approved for it. And I'm like, but I couldn't afford the car. So I had to tell myself no. So I think that's the first step. Number one, be honest with yourself and say, hey, I need to change and I need to make some differences. Then number two, another practical step, Monique, is just really sitting down and assessing, what's all going out, right? Like what bills do you have going out? How much debt do you have coming out? Pull your credit report, open up your bank statement, and sit down and do a budget. Literally sit down. Now, ladies don't like it when I say the term budget. Guys like it when I say budget, but ladies be like, budget? What? I'm like, yeah. I mean, a grown, successful person. I don't know about you, Monique, but I can pretty prove.
What ladies you talking about, Anthony?
See. Listen, I'm not talking about you, Mo, because I know how you roll. I'm talking to this younger generation that's watching this right now. They don't really like the term budget, because they feel as if a budget locks you down and it puts you inside of a box to where you don't have freedom. Well, here's the truth. Some of us need to be locked down and not have freedom. It's the freedom that's getting us in trouble and getting us over our finances. But some ladies don't. Now, Mo, you rock with it. You know what I'm saying? But we could talk about this too down the road, later on in this interview. But I'm very big on first date budgets. You know what I'm saying? I don't go over a certain budget for first dates. But we can talk about that later. I want to get your thoughts on that because I already know how you're going to come for me. But yo, you wanted to say something so bad. Look at you. But that's what you got to do. Rewind. So that's what she got to do.
You know what? You are my guest, and I am giving grace today. And we want you to come back because we want to keep these tips coming. So whatever you believe is necessary, sir. If that's the area where the budget
we're going to talk about it.
To be upheld, let's uphold the budget. Okay. But I also love that you talked about saying no. Delayed gratification is a hard lesson. And when I talk to people, I talk honestly, because I don't like to live a certain kind of way. And trying to force me to live a way I don't want to live is the same kind of misery we were talking about in the pre-show about going to a job when you know you're supposed to be in business. Like when you were walking out something miserable, Bishop Jakes always talks about he was living in a house and he told his sister that house was lying on him. You can't live a lie. Yeah. But for me, that meant, oh, okay, girl, well then you must go ball. Yeah. You're gonna have to ball. I mean, you're gonna have to hustle, you're gonna have to make money, you're gonna have to because you like nice things. Because what can't happen is me have the nice things and these kids can't eat. Me have the nice things and I don't have an education. Me have the nice things, but I don't, and so the struggle, I think, for many people though, is they know they're living beneath their privilege. They know they're living beneath what God has for them. They know that, but they don't maybe know how to live nice on every budget. And budget. It is so much easier these days Because this Target shirt that I'm rocking right now,
Target.
listen, my daughter laughs at me because I'm like, girl, I'm not spending $200 when I can spend 20. I'm just not. And that don't mean I can't spend $200. It means, why do I have to go get the $200 version of this really cute melon yellow shirt?
Listen, you weren't wearing no Target on today's show. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all go check it out. That wasn't Target on today's show. I'm gonna be real. That wasn't the shoes and the yeah. So let's keep on going. But I love how you said, sis.
The tank top was Target, though.
The tank top was Target, but not the jacket and the shoes. I know that wasn't Target. But the key thing you said is you can live good on every budget. That's all that I'm saying. Like, yo, like if you're in Target days, enjoy your Target days. If you are in Louis Gucci days, enjoy Louis Gucci. But what I like about you is you can have on Louis and Target and not feel ashamed of it because you're operating within, watch this, I recoined this phase. I know I'm not going to say budget. I said you're operating within a vision of your money. You're just saying, okay, cool. This is where my money can go. This is where I'm going to live. And that's me. You know what I'm saying? I move at the speed of cash. I move within my vision of my money for my future. That's it. I can't do the things like a Bishop T.D. Jakes, who's been in business for years and makes hundreds of $millions a year. I can't move like him. And I'm not going to try and move like him, you know? But it's like, I can move like, hey, oh, I was about to buy a house, Monique. Here, checking this up, right? Checking myself. I bought some land, and on this land, it was on the riverfront here, in the Potomac River, literally right about 5 minutes from my house where you was the other day. On the Potomac River. It's sweet. It was sexy. It was fire. The builder said, hey, I could do this for about like $1.7 million. I said, okay, cool. That's in my budget. He hits me back and he says, hey, actually to build this house, you're really looking at about $2.6 million. I said, hey, that's not in my budget. Now, watch this. The bank approved me for the $2.6 million. But I said, that's not in my budget. That's almost $1 million more than what I can honestly feel comfortable with within my vision for my money, my target version, right? I'm not going to go Louis and Gucci. And then now I gotta be stressed every month to come up with a $20-something thousand mortgage payment when my mortgage payment budget is $12,000. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, nah. So I canceled the whole deal and I'm just sticking in my mortgage right now. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's a beautiful home. So that's all that I'm really trying to get people to see is what you said. Is just operate within your budget and live to the fullest.
Now,
and
you
just
know,
be
I would have given the Lord a chance.
to what?
When the man called me, I probably would have waited like 7 days and said, well, Lord, send me the extra million. Show me the money, Lord. Is there $1 million deal out here that I'm missing somewhere? Because the extra million is not in my budget, but you've got all the budget.
God would
Lord.
have to get. He would have to literally give me the $1 million to do that kind of deal. Like it couldn't be like, all right, I'm gonna give you $83,000 a month. Actually, no. I need a whole million.
Right.
I need a whole million all day. I mean, all day. I'm praying that prayer too. But it wasn't in my budget, and God didn't give me that extra million. So
yep. Like, all right. I mean, you definitely made the smart call. I just am again always praying these crazy prayers, and sometimes he answers them, and he's like, "Girl, bye." And sometimes he answers them, and says, "Okay, it's over there."
Yeah, I'm with you. So I mean, faith. I'm with you in that part. Hey, faith. I'm believing.
And the two of us together, I bet we could find some millions.
Hey, if you find me millions, and I'll be paying for the whole house, girl, I'll give you portion of them. I'll give you portion of the property. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want none of your property.
Hey man, if you have me find millions,
I want to occupy. I want to do business, and I love everything about everything that you're doing. That's why I'm so excited. Not just at the message that you're putting out. People need that, but I'm also excited because you are a young Black man, not just taking responsibility for your own life, because you could be doing anything and take responsibility for your own life and making money. And I mean, you got the education, you got the speaking skills, you got all the things. but you're doing it in a way that gives back to our community. And so you're combining all your own blessed future and tying it to an opportunity for other people to be blessed. And I just think that's commendable. I really do.
I appreciate you for that. Mo, when we first met, I followed your journey, and I just got to say this, man, just watching you move, watching you defend Black men, it really encouraged, not just you, but even other ladies. It encourages me to step up as a Black man. Like, because just watching how you all go, how you all are fighting, how you all are defending you, Tamika Mallory. And so I'm like, wow, if these queens are going this hard for the Black community, I got to step my behind up. And I literally told my team, we are going to be for the Black people. I catch some smoke for that sometimes, but I love all people. I have white people on my team. I have all people on my team. But I want to make sure that my influence, my knowledge impacts my community. Because that's important. I wish somebody would have taught me how to steward my money, how to build wealth, how to start a business when I was young. They weren't teaching that within my community, or even within my local church, at that present time. And so I have a huge passion to teach that, help people avoid student loan debts, get the education, go to law school. But how do we keep your student loan debt down? So when you graduate, you can go be impactful rather than stressed about how you're going to pay back the last 6-7 years of your college experience. So I appreciate you.
No, absolutely. What you're saying is true. And that is the difference. That is the wealth gap difference for majority white community and Black and brown folks. We are getting the same education. When we get the education, we're saddled with debt, or we're getting the education and then we've got to put money down on the first house. They are passing generational wealth through property and through a lack of an educational bill. And so that's what it now is on us to get that lesson and give to our children. But I only got 2 more minutes. I can't run long today. So I want to know, tell people, please, where they can find you, where they can follow you, especially that juicy conversation. If y'all want to hear Anthony and I talk some more about a whole bunch of other stuff, there's a 45-minute The Table session that is out today that you can get. So tell people all your things.
Man, go to anthonyoneal.com. You'll learn all things about AO from my show that I did with Monique. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, it's juicy. I'm talking about, she kind of offended some of the ladies today with her wisdom and perspective on this whole bus driver thing. So I'm telling y'all right, I have ladies in my DM talking like, yo, Monique went in. She had me thinking today. Like, at first I was like, no, Monique, you're off. Then by the time she finished,
amen.
Like, yo, wait a minute. She gave
amen. Because I am always on the side of the sister. I want y'all to know I'm on our side. I'm on our team.
You are.
And I believe we can get it the way we want it. I just want us to think differently about how to get there. I want us to be open to how.
Just go to anthonyoneal.com. You'll see the show. You see all my stuff. It's an amazing show. And again, thank you for coming on to the table for real, my friend.
You're welcome. And thank you for coming on to make it make sense. Please come back. And guys, go get his stuff, please, because he's not selling wolf tickets. He's not a snake oil salesman. He's a faith-filled man who knows how to get you debt free. And we need that. I need that. So I'm coming. I hope everybody else is coming with me. Thank you. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation, guys. Of course, we're going to keep the conversation going. Anthony O'Neal is a blessing to so many people. And I know that he can be a blessing to you. We have Best Every Day this week. We are going to be packed, chock full. We got a full house this week. You don't want to miss any single day. We'll be back here tomorrow, noon Eastern, for more Make It Make Sense. Follow me on YouTube to get the full shows. That's Monique Pressley TV. And if you want to support us, if you want to join us by way of advertising, we'd love to have you. Go to sales. Email us at sales@moniquepressley.com. If you're interested in advertising or being a friend of the show. If you just want to support us through giving, Cash App is Monique Pressley TV, and PayPal.me/Monique Pressley TV. Okay, $ Monique Pressley TV for Cash App, PayPal.me/Monique for PayPal. I appreciate you. I hope we got you today to make something make sense. See you tomorrow.